Welcome to the deep dive. We cut through the noise to give you the essential insights you need.
Helping you understand our, well, very rapidly changing world.
And today, we are definitely zeroing in on something huge. Monumental, really. South Africa's ruling party, the ANC. They've lost their parliamentary majority. First time in 30 years.
30 years. It's hard to overstate that.
Absolutely. Think about that 3 decades of, well, undisputed power. Gone. This isn't just a political tremor.
No, it's seismic, a real shift.
Exactly, and it's forcing them into an unprecedented coalition government. So the big question we're exploring for you today is this. Could this truly mark the end of single-party dominance in post-apartheid South Africa?
Is this a new era? Maybe more fragile?
Could be.
What's as fascinating here is the sheer scale of this moment. I mean, historically speaking, for 3 decades, the ANC wasn't just a party.
Right. They were the liberation movement, the architects of the whole post-apartheid system.
Precisely. So this outcome, it's genuinely unprecedented since apartheid ended. It signals a new chapter, undeniably complex, but also potentially transformative. It's packed with immense risk, but also, extraordinary opportunity.
Yeah, you really need to look beyond just the headlines on this one.
Definitely.
And that's what we're doing today. We're pulling back the curtain. We'll trace it all back from those really surprising election results to the intricate dance of building this coalition. Who's really in, who's out, why.
Nitty-gritty.
Then we'll weigh the huge challenges against those opportunities this new era presents. And finally, what does it actually mean for South Africa's future path?
It's a complex picture for sure.
But we're going to connect the dots for you. Okay, so let's dig into this. What exactly happened in the 2024 general election? What caused this monumental shift?
Well, the numbers themselves tell a pretty astonishing story.
Yeah, the ANC's vote share just plummeted, down to just 40.2%.
Just think, back in 2019, they hit 57.5%.
Wow, that's a huge drop, not just a dip.
No, not at all. This was definitive. The end of that 3-decade dominance.
A turning point, plain and simple. It reshapes the whole political landscape.
And it's more than just losing votes. It's a profound statement from the electorate.
How so?
Well, for the first time since apartheid ended, the ANC had to talk coalition.
Right. It wasn't...
No, it was a constitutional necessity.
Yeah.
The voters gave them a clear but fragmented mandate, no majority. And what's really insightful here, I think, is how it points to a generational shift. Younger voters especially, they're demanding results, accountability.
Not just relying on the history, the legacy.
Exactly. And that fundamentally changes the political math for everyone involved.
So why? Why this massive shift in sentiment? The ANC held power so strongly for so long.
The sources are really clear on this. Voters were blaming the ANC squarely for deep, persistent problems.
And top of the list.
Soaring unemployment.
Yeah.
It's been consistently over 30%.
30%, that's staggering. Just a profound lack of opportunity for millions.
Crippling. And then there's the constant power outages, load shedding, as they call it.
Yes, load shedding. It's not just inconvenient, is it?
No, it grinds daily life, businesses, the whole economy to a halt. It's pervasive.
And on top of that,
you add numerous, very high-profile corruption scandals. That's just systematically eroded public trust.
Right.
And then there's this general feeling, which is backed by evidence, of a real decline in basic public services, healthcare, education, you name it.
So it's not just one thing. It's a pileup.
It's not just a list of policy failures, though. It speaks to something deeper, a crisis of governance, maybe, a breakdown of the social contract.
Between the party and the people.
Yeah. For a party that once meant liberation, hope. These issues show a profound disconnect between that historical mandate and their ability to deliver today. It's the cumulative weight, the daily frustrations. Can't get a job, the lights go out feeling like public money's being stolen.
That eventually broke through decades of loyalty.
Absolutely. It's almost a textbook case. A long dominant party losing touch with the real economic and social lives of its people. And voters reevaluating.
Okay, so the ANC needs partners. They can't govern alone. And they've formed what they're calling a Government of National Unity, or GNU.
A GNU, yes. Interesting term. Hints at trying to achieve broad appeal, doesn't it?
It does. So who's actually in this new setup? Who's in the tent, sharing power for the first time in a generation?
Well, the makeup of this GNU is remarkably diverse. It really reflects that fragmented election result.
And the need for compromise.
Big time. The most significant partner is the Democratic Alliance, the DA.
Okay, the main opposition, generally seen as business-friendly.
That's right. Market-oriented policies focus on governance. Then you have the Inkatha Freedom Party, the IFP.
A long-standing party, strong regional base, particularly among Zulu voters.
Correct. And the Patriotic Alliance, PA. They're newer, represent diverse communities, gain ground with quite a strong anti-immigrant stance, and focus on law and order.
Okay, so DA, IFP, PA, anyone else?
Oh, yes. It's broader still. Multiple smaller parties, too, like Good, PAIKI, FF+, UDM, Al-Jamaa, Reisman's ANC.
Wow, quite a list.
It is. And it highlights the complexity. UAT, another small party, initially joined but then pulled out later. Shows how fluid things are.
So it's a real spectrum of ideologies, regional interests, all under one umbrella.
Exactly. The sheer breadth is something to behold.
And together, what kind of power do they hold?
Collectively, this broad coalition holds a pretty substantial majority in Parliament. 72% of the seats.
72%, that's 287 out of 400 seats.
Right. So on paper, at least, that's designed to project stability.
But what does pulling together so many different voices actually mean for governing, for making policy?
More debate, certainly. More negotiation, maybe more compromise.
Has to be.
And if you step back, this whole complex process reveals something fundamental about South Africa's democracy now.
Which is?
The ANC's decline just made it impossible for any single party to govern alone. Nobody had the numbers.
So a coalition wasn't just an option, it was necessary.
Absolutely necessary to ensure stable leadership, avoid political paralysis. It's almost a sign of, well, democratic maturation maybe, where compromise isn't just nice, it's essential.
To avoid a constitutional crisis.
Exactly. It's a massive experiment in power sharing for a country used to one dominant voice.
Okay, but given this huge shift, this move to coalitions, is this what South Africans actually wanted?
Well, here's a surprising stat. Surveys show about 74% of voters actually support coalition government.
74%, that's high. Why?
Largely because they believe it brings better accountability, checks and balances.
Interesting. And any specific coalition preferred?
Even more specifically, the coalition that actually formed the ANC, DA, and Partners from the Multi-Party Charter, or MPC.
Yeah, MPC. That was the pre-election opposition pact, right? Formed specifically to unseat the ANC.
That's the one. That combination was actually polled as the most popular option among voters.
Wow. So the electorate was kind of ahead of the curve, endorsing this new way of governing.
It certainly seems that way. This public feeling feeds right into that narrative of democratic maturity. People want checks, balances, not unchecked power.
Makes sense.
But, and this is a big but, it raises a crucial question. Popular in theory? Sure. But how stable is this unity going to be in practice?
Right. Enthusiasm is one thing.
Governing together with such different interests, that's where the fragility could really show.
And that stability, that's where the major challenges really lie, isn't it? Because we're not talking small disagreements here.
No, there are deep ideological divides, potentially very difficult to bridge.
Like what? Give us an example.
Okay, take the GA, a key partner. They fundamentally oppose core ANC policies, like Black Economic Empowerment, BEE.
Which aims to redress historical inequalities through things like ownership targets.
Exactly. And the DA also opposes the National Health Insurance, the NHI bill.
The Universal Health Care Plan, which has huge debates around funding, impact on private care.
Right. These aren't minor policy tweaks. They're fundamental questions about the country's future direction, its economic structure.
And the other partners, IFT, PA, they have their own priorities too, right?
Absolutely. They bring their own distinct, sometimes conflicting agendas to the table. So compromise isn't just occasional, it's constant.
Yeah.
And likely very difficult.
Plus, you have to think about the wider political scene, the tensions with other big parties.
A lot of the ANC's lost support went elsewhere, to the economic freedom fighters, the EFF.
Radical left, land expropriation.
And the Umkhonto we Sizwe party, MK, former President Zuma's new populist party.
Right.
Now, while some polls in certain provinces actually showed voter support for, say, an ANC, EFF, or ANC, MK deal, those options were incredibly complicated, too. Deep internal splits within those parties, massive policy clashes with the ANC's more centrist elements.
So maybe even bigger hurdles there.
Arguably, yes. Which likely pushed the ANC towards the DA deal as the perhaps least unstable option, despite the ideological gaps.
Okay, so this brings us back to the risk of instability. Is this national coalition going to hold?
It's a very real risk.
Yeah.
And we have examples right there in South Africa. Look at the local level, Johannesburg, Chouane.
Major cities.
Yeah, their recent coalition governments have been plagued by power struggles, backroom deals, constant breakdowns, revolving doors of mayors.
So could the national setup face similar fragility?
Easily. Despite the popular mandate for coalitions in general, the practical challenge of keeping these diverse partners aligned, especially on hot-button issues when the stakes are national, it's immense.
A constant balancing act.
Between keeping the coalition unified and pushing your own party's agenda. Very tricky.
So let's talk about President Ramaphosa. What does all this mean for him and for the ANC's future direction? He's been right in the middle of this.
Absolutely. Navigating incredibly complex internal party politics.
And this decision to go with the DA, pragmatic, maybe essential for stability, like you said, but also really controversial within the ANC itself.
Hugely controversial. Many ANC veterans saw it as, well, a betrayal of core principles, aligning with a party historically seen as opposing the liberation movement's goals.
So, not an easy call for him. Ruffled a lot of feathers.
Definitely not easy. But it really highlights Ramaphosa's strategic, perhaps pragmatic approach.
But why was it seen as so essential by many?
Primarily to restore stability, and crucially, investor confidence. South Africa's economy has been shaky for years.
Yeah, and the political uncertainty before the election didn't help.
Not at all. A fractured government, or maybe a coalition with more populist, less market-friendly parties that could have made things much worse economically.
So this deal was also a signal.
A clear signal to markets, to the international community, saying South Africa is stable, reliable, serious about tackling economic challenges. Open for business, essentially.
There's also a significant internal shift happening within the ANC itself, isn't there?
Yes, that's a really important point. This moment marks the first time the party could elect a leader internally without a major liberation figure contender.
What's the significance of that?
It signals a clear generational change, potentially paving the way for a new kind of leadership, one not carrying the same historical weight of the anti-apartheid struggle.
But maybe also lacking that unique authority, that almost unquestioning loyalty previous leaders had.
Exactly. It forces the ANC to redefine itself, to figure out how to lead in a truly democratic, multi-party reality.
So what are the big policy implications now? What's the likely national direction?
Well, first, expect economic policy to lean heavily on DA priorities, trying to boost investor confidence, attract capital.
Which could mean?
Maybe pushes for privatization of state-owned companies, leaner government budgets, perhaps even rethinking land reform policies. Big ideological shifts for the ANC.
Significant changes. What else?
Second, corruption accountability. We're already seeing renewed, maybe intensified pressure.
Like Ramaphosa sacking the higher education minister.
Exactly. Amid fraud allegations. That move also conveniently helped avoid a budget crisis, but it signaled a tougher line under the G&G. It's about restoring trust.
And finally,
public service delivery. It's absolutely paramount. The coalition partners are demanding clear results. They know the coalition's survival depends on improving everyday life.
keeping the lights on, creating jobs, basic services.
That's the ultimate test of this unity. Can they deliver tangible improvements?
So wrapping this up, it's crystal clear South Africa's new coalition era is this tightrope walk. Significant risk on one side and unprecedented opportunity on the other. The whole continent, maybe the world, is watching.
Precisely. The risks are very real. Weak coalitions, internal fights leading to policy paralysis, inconsistent governance scaring off investors, eroding public trust.
Yeah, the potential downsides are huge.
But then the opportunities are equally compelling. The promise of a more robust, maybe more mature democracy.
Increased accountability for politicians.
Genuine power sharing between diverse groups.
Yeah.
And ultimately, maybe a government that's more truly representative of all South Africans.
A new chapter where compromise and collaboration have to lead, not just singular authority.
That's the hope and the challenge.
So, considering everything we've explored, this historic shift, the complex coalition, the deep divides, what do you think? Do coalitions, generally speaking, make governments stronger, more accountable?
Or do they just inherently bring more fragility, more potential for gridlock?
And maybe even more specifically for South Africa, what kind of coalition partnership do you believe best serves such a diverse nation? How do you balance progress with stability?
Well, lots to think about there.
Definitely. This deep dive was designed to give you that comprehensive understanding, the context you need to form your own informed opinions on this pivotal moment.